our walk today. All the elderflower is coming into bloom now, which means it's perfect for cordial making. And the nice thing about this is you can make a whole load, have some lovely glass bottles you can buy, and you can then give it away as gifts, which is lovely. We do tend to recommend to keep this in the fridge because with the heat it can start fermenting even though the sugar is a preservative. You can add citric acid, which as well as enhancing, giving it a little bit of acidity, it also helps to preserve. So we've got about 25-30 heads of elderflower here, flowers, and we washed these. I've spun them in the lettuce spinner, ready to go. I've got 1.5 litres of water on the stove coming to the boil. Tegan is now going to zest our lemons into our elderflower and our orange, and then Finn is going to use his fridge to cut the citrus in half and keep the juice. And then I'm going to strain it. You can either use a muslin like we did when we made ricotta, so you can either do that and pour it through. If you've got a very fine sieve, you can do that, and to take out any of bits and pieces that might still be in it. So by pouring the boiling water over our elderflower and our zest, we're infusing all the lovely flavours from the flowers and from our zest into that water. Then what we're going to do is we're going to put all the sugar. It is a lot of sugar. Remember, we're using it as obviously as to help enhance the flavour, but also very much as a preservative because it is a cordial. And the idea being you pour a little bit into a glass and add. We like to add soda water for the sparkle, or you can add cold water if you want. But then you can choose how much you're going to add. So Tegan's doing this, and once the water's on the boil, we'll bring it back. Tiggs, well done, great job. Let me just finish that off quickly. Can you just have a look in the pan and see how the water's doing? Is it boiling yet? So Finny, I'm going to pass this over to you. We are now going to zest. Finn's now going to use his bridge to hold onto the lemon. Good boy, Finn. He's going to cut it down the middle, and then he's going to hold the lemon zest squeezer. No, this will do it for you, remember? Oh, yeah. Hold it and twist it round to get all of the juice out. So we're going to do that with 3 lemons and an orange. So the zest is going to give it a lovely, enhance our elderflower flavour by lifting it with the citrus freshness. Okay, so there we go. That's it. Right, Finny, you can literally hold this. That's it, good boy. And just make sure you've got it all out. You can check that you've got all the juice out by squeezing it afterwards just to make sure. That's it. Keep going, so you've got that too. The easiest thing to do is to hold the handle. Hang on, you don't need to twist that. You hold the handle and you just twist the lemon, not your whole body. Okay. Right, perfect. Okay, so once this is done, as you can see, we're using a satsuma because we're out of oranges, which is fine. So once we've got all that zest on there, our water has now come to the boil. We're going to pour it over. Remember to get an adult to do this with you. We're going to pour this over the top.
Oh my gosh, I've got a load.
Okay. So, right, just be very careful. You do need to get an adult to do this part for you. We're pouring the water over all those flowers. Okay, and I'm just going to get a wooden spoon just to push it down and just to leave it to infuse. Okay, so that is just going to wilt everything down, and all those flavours are going to...
It smells really nice.
It does smell good, doesn't it? What do you think, Tiggs?
Yeah, it's
very
really
fresh. So it's going to infuse into our liquid. And then we're just going to put that to one side. When Finn's finished squeezing that, we're going to keep that, because what we're going to do is once we have strained our liquid into a pan, I'm going to add the sugar, stir it. It's really important that the liquid doesn't come to the boil until all your sugar granules have totally dissolved. And you know they're dissolved when you have scratched the bottom of the pan, obviously holding the handle, and if there's no grittiness left, then your water is dissolved. Then bring it to the boil, for a few minutes, and then as it starts to cool, we'll stir in the lemon juice just to give it a little bit of acidity. And then if you've got citric acid, or your parents want to get some to help preserve your cordial, you can. It's really important if you're going to use glass bottles that they're sterilised. So you'll have to get your parents to sterilise them. I will put details on how to sterilise on them, but that is for an adult to do because the glass does get very hot. But that kills any bacteria inside the Finny, that way, wait a second. So that way. Okay, mind your fingers, good boy. And that stops bacteria growth, or reduces it inside the bottle, so that your cordial will last longer. So good luck, have a go, and we'll show you this when we're finished.
Bye.
Right, so there are different ways of making cordial, elderflower cordial. Sometimes you bring the sugar to a boil with and make a stock, and then you add the flowers. The way I've done it is that we poured boiling water over the flowers and the zest, left it for 24 hours. You can just leave it for sort of 5 to 12 hours, it's up to you. I've strained it, and then I'm putting the sugar in. Now the reason I've done it that way round is because this elderflower cordial can ferment and go off quite quickly if there's anything fresh or not quite cooked any impurities in your cordial. So by straining it and releasing all the flavour the way that we have first, by infusing it into the water, we are hopefully reducing the chance of that happening. So I'm going to now keep stirring, because remember, I want the sugar to be totally dissolved before my liquid comes up to the boil. Okay, and then I'm going to add my lemon and orange juice that was squeezed, and I'm going to boil it for a couple of minutes, probably about 5 minutes actually. Just make sure it's boiling rapidly, so that we know that it's reached a really nice hot temperature to kill any bacteria that's there. And that's it. And then we're going to sterilise our bottles and pour our liquid using a funnel into our bottle.